All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to PFIC in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm here with Jeff Shackfold. How are you, Jeff?
Wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Now, Jeff's with, hang on a second. Hey, Nicole, can you do me a favor? I'm sorry. We're live, so it's just one of those things. Can you point to the camera just a smidge that way? Just turn a little bit towards Jeff. Perfect. Right there. Don't move. Oh, nope, too much. Come back. You got the wall. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Morning, Sling Buzz. Hey. Good morning. Yeah, it's what time even is it here in Nashville? It's 9:30 here in Nashville, and
Wow.
there's a lot of people. Now that looks good. Now, thank you, Nicole. And a lot of people at the conference went out last night. Not me. I was not one of those.
Well, as I look around the other vendor tables, it's fairly apparent that probably a few people stayed up a little late last night.
No, I agree because nobody's here in vendor wise.
We do have one over there.
Yeah. The champion over in the back end. Oh, absolutely. So, Jeff, it's finally good to have you on the hub. I know we had some complications a couple weeks back, but we got to reuse the graphic for this show, so that made me happy.
There we go.
And if you guys saw the graphic just before we went live, it's Jeff in my.
I
graphic
tried thinking about
tablet.
this, and I believe I want to think the first time I recall us trying to get together to do this was, and maybe I'm wrong, HTCIA Chicago, which would have been several years ago.
It may have been.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a long time because we started these officially, like trying to do them every week or so, just this year. But we would do them sporadically for the last 3, I think, something like that.
There's that many people to talk to.
There is.
To do it weekly for 3 years.
It's surprising how big the industry actually is because because obviously, Jeff, you go to a lot of shows, right? I mean, you're at almost all the shows that are out there. So we're used to seeing the same pretty much people all the time, no matter where we go. But you're surprised though. There's holdouts in the industry that don't make an appearance out there.
Well, outside the vendor world,
yeah.
tons.
Yeah. So and it's funny. A lot of people don't understand why the vendors are always friendly with each other and friends. It's like when you're in a hall and everyone's in session, just like this right now. It's like we're all we got to talk to. we have to be friends.
I tell people a lot. I see this group more than I do my own friends where I live, like in town where I live. I'm like, I see them a lot less frequently than you all. So it's kind of hard for people to grasp. I'm like, see you next week at we're in Georgia.
Wherever this week, yeah. So this is the actual official day one. Now, yesterday was a training day here at PFIC. You're not speaking this year, which is a little sad. But I guess since we haven't had you on the show,
this is my first time at a PFIC, even before my time with Passmark.
Yeah.
Back in law enforcement days. This may be the first one I've never not spoken at.
Really? Yeah, I mean, it's a great venue. This venue's beautiful.
Yeah. It was nice. This first time in Nashville for PFIC as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Yeah.
No, this is the absolute, first time. We're a couple miles off of the main Broadway strip. Technically, Broadway's like right outside, but you got to go down the other side. We're on the west side of town, right? Versus being right downtown where all the honky tonks and stuff are. I can't believe it's grown. Like my wife and I came, I think the last time we were here was in 2009, something like that. And there was some good places. Don't get me wrong, but now it's like, holy crap! Every country music star's got a place down here now.
Yeah.
Have you been down on?
But I think
lately?
it's broadened so much more outside of just country, anyway. So it's like there was something in the live music and everywhere in hotels, and I'm like, none of what I overheard last night was country music anywhere. So it's like it's just kind of encompassed, I guess, a lot broader.
You know what surprised me was we were walking around because we got in early on Monday, Labor Day, right? And so we went down to Broadway and kind of just walking around, and there was a Taco Bell down there that had live music set up inside of it. I kid you not. It's
Wow.
It's right across from Coyote Ugly, kind of diagonal from it, and there it is. It's a Taco Bell with it.
That's a first.
Yeah, and they serve alcohol in Taco Bell as well. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this town. I like it a lot. Are you a country music fan? Is not so much.
I
What's
don't
your
know.
preferred
Any-
genre?
good
No one's gonna
grief.
throw anything at you through the virtual
That's
screen.
true.
You're good. Just send you a hate mail.
Yeah. So I actually play guitar. I've
Yeah.
played guitar my whole life.
Really?
So music, yeah.
Are you a Backstreet Boys guy? You look kind of like
But
a.
I don't even think there's guitar in that. What are you talking about? I can throw something at you, Kevin. They can't throw it at me. I can dump the water on.
Sorry, I had
that
to. It was right there.
Yeah. Product of growing up in the 90s, teenagers. So
Yeah.
that was in guitar, so it was the whole grunge and Seattle scene
Oh,
at that point.
you're like
So
into it.
Pearl Jam,
Yeah.
Soundgarden, Alice in
Nice.
Chains, all those bands where everyone no longer is alive, it seems like, hardly anymore, unfortunately. But it's interesting. My oldest daughter is a sophomore in high school. That's all she listens to now. So
Yeah.
it's like wonderful because I get to. She's like, "What's this song from like Alice in Chains I've heard?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's like 20-something years old,
Brand new."
Yeah, new to them, I guess.
That's right.
So yeah, that was kind of just, but it spans to everything. Dave Matthews Band, I went through the big phase back in those days,
Yep.
learning how to play all those songs. And so my college days, I think, were probably spent more of learning. I think I've learned how to play every Pearl Jam song out of all of their disc at some point there. And so yeah, I don't know.
Like we said, there's a lot of downtime in the vendor area.
Yeah.
When everyone's in session.
Yeah, so
You really should
we
brought
were
it.
talking briefly before this.
Yeah.
I thought I should have brought. We were kind of laughing about cowboy hats, and I have several cowboy hats, and I can't ever tell you when. It's one of those purchases we as men like. I could probably find some reasons to wear that. Then you get it, and you're like, I can't ever wear this.
You pull it out, and your wife laughs at you
Yeah,
every time.
I'm
What
like,
are you doing?
Is there a rodeo we can go to this year? I'm going to wear it. And you got to have a summer one straw, and you got the felt one for
That's
the.
right.
You can't wear off season.
No, you got to keep your head warm.
So yeah, I should have. But anyways, yeah, we were kind of joking. Should have brought the cowboy hat, boots, brought a
Right.
guitar, and just maybe did live music at the booth. That would be a first.
That's right.
Maybe.
This is the only place in Nashville that there's no live music. We could have fixed it. We could have absolutely fixed it. So, Jeff, how? Let me switch back. I think this is supposed to be a forensic podcast. It is. But hey, I go off on more tangents. You can ask anybody that works at this company. I go off on more tangents than anyone else. So I'm horribly guilty of it. But how did you get started in this crazy industry? Tell me a little bit about your history of what brought you in. I mean, you're not just some guy that's sitting behind a table at the awesome OSForensics booth that's sitting right next to us here.
So came here via law enforcement.
Gotcha.
Career. So in my earlier 20s, out of school, it was be a teacher / coach or law enforcement. That was kind of like my two. Which one do I want to do? Looking back on, now, I'm glad.
I thought Rockstar would have been in there.
Yeah, I gave up on
Lead
that.
guitarist.
I gave up on that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to happen. I'm decent. Good grief. I've been playing 27 years.
See, now I'm curious. Now I wish we had. I bet you we can find a guitar by the end of this show.
Okay.
I bet you we can.
By the
find
end of
it.
the show.
Well, not
yeah.
this show. The event, the 3-day
Okay.
event. I bet you someone has a guitar here.
You would think.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it just started off law enforcement. I had no technical background outside of just what a user at that time and playing on the internet. And I just so happened to be kind of at the police department that I was at the time. I was maybe one of the youngest in the detective division at the time, and so I just so happened to be kind of the guy that was like, "Hey,
you could turn it on the computer.
Can you set this guy up with a Gmail account and can you fix the printer?" Right. It was like it's just out of paper type of things. But when internet crimes started becoming the new sexy crime as far as media, we saw that it was just narcotics for years. It was kind of the frontline headings and things. But cybercrime cases started becoming the new kind of thing that was getting a lot of publicity and stuff like that. So we had a progressive chief that was, hey, we need to get someone trained up so we're not offloading our cases and things. So it was kind of like, hey, you fix the printer and you set up email accounts and you must be able to do this. And so I got kind of thrown into that world, and it was interesting to me anyway. So I was certainly glad to do it. And it really, I just went out and wherever I could go to learn about anything, I would just go absorb as much as I could, and then come back and kind of regurgitate that. So I was just, I'd learn a little bit and come back and act as if I knew everything about it.
Right.
And kind of preach that. I would call up places and, hey, can I come talk about internet safety here or there? And so it was this really sort of long progressive path of just getting into it from internet safety type of things to kids in schools, to doing actual investigations. Did a lot of, I basically was all involved in the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force type cases. And then that really opened it up to, the forensics, and this is really interesting. And so during those first few years in the investigative side of things, I really want to do the forensics part to it. So it was great too, because there was lots of, at least where I was in Missouri at the time, lots of new grants and opportunities, funding for training and things like that. So I wrote a lot of grants. I got good at writing grants for a few years, and took all the training that I could, and just tried to absorb as much. And it's just been this is an interesting arena, I guess, in digital forensics, and the fact that it's a dynamic industry.
Oh yeah.
It's not like going to some sort of maybe some other training, like in law enforcement, investigative training, where you go, you get certified, you learn something, and not much changes over the years. Where here, it's just, you're on this constant learning path, and
every
so
day.
now I've been in this world now for what, I don't know, 15-ish something years, or somewhere around there, off the top of my head. And it's never, you don't really ever sit still as far as what you're learning, because technology just keeps advancing. And so it was funny in the law enforcement world, we would traditionally, and you were law enforcement, right?
Yep.
Initially, so
I still have my credentials, just in case this doesn't work
I
out.
do. I hear you. Yeah. So that's funny. I was the same. I'm like, I can't let that.
Don't let it go.
Accreditation fall back.
It's too hard to get it back.
Yeah, I could go through an academy again.
Oh gosh. They want me to run.
Yeah.
My body's not designed for running. If you haven't seen me lately.
Anyway, no, where was I going with that?
I don't know.
Law enforcement.
Yeah. Right
So you well know, it's like you would do a case or something like that, but by the time you might go testify, or it goes to court, maybe a good earliest a year, and then sometimes even past that. So what kind of really awoken me to, wow, this is just constantly changing, is over this course of years, it just continues. Like you get subpoenaed for court, and you look back a year before at how you did this case or handled it, or the forensics, and you're like, oh, why didn't I go look for this artifact or this? And it's just kind of, you're like, I didn't know about that then. And it continues to progress. And so it was interesting and neat. And just,
and then,
so anyways, that's kind of how I got into it. And then in 2010, I left after 10 years at the PD, and took a consultancy gig for 6 months to go to Little Rock, Arkansas, to the AG's office there, and built their cybercrimes program, wrote policies, did some initial hiring, training for investigators, and we just really ran the state, going around doing proactive casework. Again, primarily all ICAC-based type.
Did you pose as the 14-year-old girl
No,
online? No, you didn't.
No.
I wish they were surprised if you would.
I did some of those cases at PD, and then it was just strictly forensics for me at the AG's office, and and started using OSForensics one day that no one basically knew about. It was back then. It was sort of like this, just entry kind of had some neat things, but really wasn't a very polished tool. But there was several things in it that were like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing tool. No one knows about this.
Right.
And so really I went around, and I had been speaking at a lot of the conferences for since around 2000, 7-ish, something like that.
I think that's when I met you, right in there somewhere.
Yeah. And well, anyways, my last year or so, I was going around and just kind of talking about, hey, look at this tool that can do this, and it's free, or they had a free version or something. And so I got to know the company at that point and kept starting building up email back and forth, and hey, this is a really good tool. This is awesome, but could you tweak this here, or maybe add this? And they were very receptive, and just over the course of a year or so, just building kind of that relationship back and forth. And they like to tell the story that I talked myself into the job. So I somehow hired myself, or pitched the you should hire me. And I think I remember I was on the road or something. I pulled over in like an iron skillet truck stop parking lot and had a phone interview with the guys in Australia. And 6 years later, here we are.
Here you are.
And OSForensics is honestly, it's a great tool, very robust toolkit.
Yeah, a lot of people in the industry, and I know, and I still haven't heard of it. Now, granted, people should be researching their tools and the capabilities that are out there. If you guys haven't, heard about OSForensics, you should really check them out. I mean, obviously, you're not here in Nashville. You can't just walk right next to you and talk to Jeff. But what's a website that someone can go to if they're interested in checking it out?
So
I'll type it in, maybe if I can type here.
So the tool is like much of the other tools and companies. OSForensics is the tool. Passmark Software is the company. So we get some confusion there sometimes. But it's rather unique tool in that the website, again, I said at OSForensics.com. It's a complete toolkit in the sense for all things computer forensics related. So in a sense, it's not just your lab tool where you're doing dead box forensics on images. It's not just a live tool for out in the field and doing live analysis or triage. It's not just a decryption tool for being able to, break your encrypted documents or something like that. It's not just an imaging tool. It's not just a virtualization tool. It's this complete toolkit, and it's just one price. There's not a lot of some of the no names mentioned, but sometimes things can get a little confusing, and by the time you're like, where's this add-on or this feature?
Do I have this? No. Nope.
This, or you want the live version of it? This is another. It's just, here's the whole toolkit.
Yeah.
So, do you want? It's one of those things. Do you want
noisy?
I don't know where's that coming from.
Over there.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, you lose your spatial sense.
Good grief! Yeah,
of where it's at.
Like we're in a really big room right now.
We're in a really big room, and we got these mics cranked up loud too. So
I think how far are we? We're just in a few minutes before break. I think the break's at 10. So,
oh, is it? Yeah. We can keep talking. It'll just get really loud. We'll just have to do the.
I may have to just take the headphones off.
If you just lean way in, then you get that really deep radio voice.
Hey, hello.
That's the way it works.
Check out the OSForensics.
Or we could go back to this one. Oh, wait, that's not it.
That's the air horn.
Yeah,
I like the air horn.
This one.
We just sucked helium here. Come by the OSForensics booth. Grab a shot of the helium tank. I can't even talk. You gotta turn this up.
Oh my God, my face turned so red laughing at that. Oh, yeah, we're a bunch of children. That was funny. Sorry, I'm amused by little things.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, yeah. Megan says you successfully broke it, Kevin, and that was true. I lost it completely. That was so funny. I'm amused.
We can do the whole interview in that.
Oh my God, I couldn't do it.
You do the creepy demon filter that you had on there too.
The demon one, yeah, that's this one.
This
right
is
here.
the opposite.
Oh man, this is really. That's really
good with the laughs.
I can't even talk with that on there, man. Everybody else is looking at us like we're all weird because they can't hear what's happening.
Special guest Satan today on the.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So
now I really have no idea where we were.
I completely derailed. what do you think is a couple top features, top benefits, right? As an examiner, right, which I haven't examined a case in years, but what would be like the most benefit, do you think, to examiners using OS Forensics,
Oh,
or why they
gosh.
should check that out? What's going to give them the best, the reason that they want to come over and check it out?
Yeah. So, wow, there's so much that it's hard to do like
And
an
I-
elevator pitch right
And I
here.
put you right on the
Yeah.
spot.
No,
too,
no, no,
so-
it's fine.
Hey,
It's
we
just
can go back
trying
to Chipmunk
trying
voice,
to
huh?
trap. Yeah. No chipmunk voice. So the fact that it is all inclusive, like so everything from your disk imaging, custom content logical imaging, to live RAM analysis, RAM collection, in each one of these major things I'm talking about, then there's lots of different ways that you can customize it, tailor it, and advanced features of all that. But the interface is
Mhm.
probably one of the, as far as nicest interfaces. And when I say nice, it's simple. You buy the product, you don't necessarily like, I'm not even going to be able to touch this until I go to the training to figure out what to get through this interface.
Been there, yeah.
It's literally you install it and it's simple. It's like a 200, little change version of version, like 230 meg installer.
Wow.
Downloads
that's
in
great.
seconds, installs in seconds. You don't need to spend a ton of money on hardware. It'll run on just about anything. I do real casework on that $700 laptop with
That's great.
16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
So unless you're doing some stuff like really hardware intensive indexing,
Mhm.
a large amount of data, something like that. Yeah, most of the stuff is just single thread. More input output bound, disk bound. Your
Mhm.
best money is spent on some high end disks.
Yeah.
Versus some sort of crazy processor with tons of cores but are slow. Few cores, really fast
Yeah.
processor gets you much better mileage. But anyway, back to your question. Sorry. We have, as far as I'm aware, the fastest software-based disk imaging tool on the market.
Really?
Yeah. Got
Okay.
some videos of that out. If anybody would like to,
I did put a link to the website. It's in the chat. I'll put it in the description
Okay.
too, because I don't think the chat's going to stay from the
our
conference.
YouTube channel's got a lot of good stuff. So
Oh, there you go.
Passmark software, just go to YouTube, type in Passmark software, you'll see the
You'll find it
channel
there.
and a
Mhm.
lot of videos there. The virtualization, which is you can see, no one else, that middle sign in our
can't.
booth there,
We'll-
the forensic
we'll pan
image
around.
virtual environment. You talk about
Wait
a
a minute.
one-click, 30-second type of operation where you can take any of your disk images, whether it's an EO1, AFF4, raw disk image, and all you got to do is point the tool to that image file wherever you, and it's better if it's on your local
Hang on.
system.
We're in preview mode. I'm gonna show you something here. Maybe. Here we go.
Well, I'm gonna keep going with the feature
Yeah.
there.
Keep talking.
And so it's literally like a one point to the image file, and it will detect the operating system. And this
There.
feature works
Right
with.
there's your booth.
Hey, there it is.
right there.
It's a lovely booth.
What's that one thing? I can squish people's heads
Yeah.
like this guy over here. Sorry.
We're doing a radio show over here.
This is what we look like from behind the scenes, by the way. All right, let me flip it back so it's not so distracting. There we go.
We've got the automatically log in, password bypass for user account.
Mhm.
This works. This feature works Windows, Mac, and Linux systems.
Oh, wow.
So it's great too. If you're not maybe too familiar with something like a Linux system, to virtualize it as a user, it's much easier to navigate and kind of see things
yeah.
versus if you've never really looked at a file system, an ext4 file system or something,
Yeah.
and how that's set up. So that's a great, kind of use for that feature as well. But 30-second type, one click, point to it, choose the user you want to log into, choose bypass password if you want to, and click go. I know there's maybe one other tool I think that supports maybe a couple that supports that type of feature.
Yeah.
But as far as the usability goes, you don't like our. We've got a free mounting tool, OSF Mount. It's an incredible free mounting tool for anyone out there listening that wants to, that's maybe paying for a mounting tool and wants. Please check out OSF Mount. It does a lot of
OSF
the
Mount.
back end heavy lifting for that feature.
Yeah.
And
And
anyways,
free.
it's free.
That's
on the
awesome.
website. But
I like your price point. I'm trying to nudge.
Yeah.
Nudge.
Um,
You don't have to talk. Don't say a number. unless you want to, unless you're pretty open.
Yeah,
about
so
it. I think
you can go to the website. I think we're maybe one of the few one or two other tools out there that will
there it
tell
is,
you
right
the
there.
price tag right on.
Yeah, it's right
You
there.
don't have to go anywhere.
I'm
You
not
don't have
sharing
to,
that, so they can't see that
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But
So we still have a perpetual option. So $14.99 gets you the perpetual license with a year of SMS.
I'll switch over to it.
But
and
the
see
better
maybe.
value and what we're trying to really get the customers to go to is our subscription options, which are the $7.99 just year over year.
That's
you
awesome.
Want the tool $7.99? You've got it for a year. Next year $7.99 includes support, updates to the latest version releases and things, and then
That's awesome.
take that a step further, and we may be the complete computer forensic live analysis toolkit. You can do a month to month, $79 a month.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So
if I'm a small shop and say I don't get it, I don't need it every month, and I just need a few months, and then shut it off, and then come back when I get another case. If I'm like a PI or just a small shop, I guess would be
lots of use.
Yeah.
Student. Just a lot of stuff. But that's kind of that was sort of the customer in mind was maybe the private investigator, or the small shop type thing.
That's perfect.
Where, you just maybe you're going to try to do 2 or 3 cases and knock it out in a month, and then you may not have a use for it for 2 months or something like that.
And you charge really great billable hours to make your money back. So
it makes sense. So it's an incredible. And I try to tell people, honestly, probably one of our biggest hurdles has nothing to do with the tool itself, but that price point, because we're so geared to just as we grow up in America, we think we see price and we equate quality to that price. And really in the software world, price tag has much more to do with company overhead than it does features and functionality and quality within the tool.
How many people do I got to pay this month?
So when you buy OSForensics, you are literally paying, there's not a lot of, we're not making a lot of money at all on that price, as you might tell. We just as a company, just have the really try to stay where we're keeping that price point low. That was the company president, David Wren, that was sort of his mission when he started the OSForensics project, was to be able to create a more accessible tool for the larger audience, and not just something that a large government or Fortune 500 company could buy. And we also offer site license. Yeah. Some people would call it enterprise licensing.
Okay. How does that work? Tell me a little about that one.
Baseline start there is $18,000. So for and there's I won't be able to pull it off the top of my head, whatever the range of numbers, but say $18,000 a year would get your company or organization or agency unlimited installations and unlimited users.
Wow.
Throughout the entire organization.
I know some pricing of some of the tools out there.
Yeah, that's less than 4 licenses. You could throw this on every, and that is the base there at 18, but it doesn't really scale up too much from that. But when you think about it, when you install OSForensics, you have the ability then to create your own portable versions through just a couple click install to USB. So you could put it on anything from your typical USB flash drive to throw it on a 2 terabyte high-end portable.
So you could run
SSD.
I see one of these suckers, right?
Just you could install it to there, run it from there on a live system. You could do live imaging back out to that then. And
I love these little drives.
Yeah, and it runs extremely fast.
No kidding,
something
really?
Like that, So
I'm going to come over and check out a demo after this too.
And
you guys can check it out too. Just head over to OSForensics.com, and I'm sure you have some videos posted on the site too, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe if not, it's your YouTube channel, which
demonstrations.
And we'll throw a link up to that as well. So that price point's pretty awesome. Well, Jeff, I mean, I don't think they're out next door yet. It was supposed to be a vendor break starting at 10. We were expecting to get really loud in here really fast, because this room, you guys kind of saw real quick in the B-roll that Megan had mentioned of some of the stuff I was showing you. It's going to get really loud in here really quick. But I don't know. Do you want to hang out?
I guess the last speaker is
probably still going
on.
We've all been there, done that, right?
I'm notorious. I don't know if I think the last time I spoke, I had several presentations at the Dallas conference here just a few weeks ago, and I think one of those I ended right on the dot.
Wow.
That's a first.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Just mic drop. Not these though.
it is hard because you tend to, you want to, each one goes a little differently. Obviously, you don't want to sit there and just slide to slide and time that out. So
I find myself over-explaining sometimes, or saying more than what I need to. I just talk. That's why
when I started, many years ago, I always had this fear that
My
I would
wife's
be
like
done like
Agreed.
incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Like of an hour presentation, and I always had this fear of like, what if I'm done in 30 minutes or something like that? So I would usually build out this slide deck that was way in my early, like too much stuff crammed in the slide deck.
it's
And
like,
I'm like,
you got 30 minutes. You build 200 slides.
and then realize I've got 5 minutes to go and 20 slides still left, and like,
Right.
Maybe I've quickly realized that I tend to be long-winded.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of us in the industry is that way. That's why we now present and teach, and heck, that's the only reason I started this, because I like to talk, and I figure I'll just grab some other people that like to talk, and we'll just talk.
This is an awesome setup for anyone that has not been at one of these events and seen the whole.
Seen it live, yeah.
And this is probably smaller scale than you've done.
Yeah.
A few of the other
Yeah, we're
shows and
packed
things
in the
that,
corner here a little bit, this one, but we actually have full another camera systems. We have our other soundboards being used in the main halls and stuff right now, in the presenter halls. There's, I don't know how many more of these in the crates. We're hiding everything back there.
And they have the for all of you out there, the best swag. I must say.
Yeah, the swag's pretty cool. My wife just walked away. She went to go get she's my Vanna White. She can't hear me say that right now because she's across the room. Otherwise, we'd see that swag hit me right in the head.
And it's glass. That would
It is. It would have hurt. It would hurt quite a bit. Yeah, we got the pint glasses that are real glass, shot glasses. We got, of course, the regular stickers. Those koozies, I'll never do koozies again.
I just ordered koozies.
Really?
Koozies are being delivered as I speak,
like
probably,
koozies, but
so.
if you look at ours really close, they're oblong, and I don't know. I don't know if the printer how they did that. Seriously, when we're done here, I can't get up and grab one. And she walked away for a second to grab it. There, she's coming back. She realizes now that we've been talking about her the entire time. She's used to me right now. Can you throw me one of those koozies? Just don't hit me. Well, it won't hurt too bad. Yeah, she's gonna wing it at me. So yeah, look at it. See how it's kind of oblong? Right there? Yeah, I'll show you guys too. It's just, I don't know. It's me. I'm OCD when it comes to that stuff. I can't see it as well as it on camera, but
so everyone out there, next week at the FLETC conference I'll be at,
there you go.
We'll get an OSForensics koozie. I got
and
ours.
hopefully
We'll
yours
have
aren't.
two-sided.
Oh, you got
and a little logo on the bottom.
Fancy. You're fancy. That way, when you drink,
I got a good deal on them.
Funny stuff. Put some funny stuff on the bottom of it. That way, when people tip it back to drink, that'd be good. That'd be great. Hey, it's starting to fill up in here now. So I'm going to cut you loose. Just so I just realized I was going to keep you talking while people came in, but you have a booth to run, man. With a lot of free swag sitting out there all by itself right now. We were talking about that earlier, and I'm going to make up some T-shirts and give them away.
Swag.
It just says, "I'm just here for the swag."
Swag stealer.
Yeah,
the swag stealer. I have young kids who like the show called Big City Greens, and there's an episode where they go to some trade show at the local conference place, and the grandma on the show or whatever she ends up with like this Santa Claus sized sack of swag as she's leaving, and all the vendors start recognizing her as the swag stealer, and she's like, "You can't steal what's free." And I'm like, she's got a point there, I guess.
My gosh! And anyone who's ever been to a trade show or presents at trade shows, you get it. It's what it is.
It's there. You want people to take it. Yeah.
That's why we have it. Come take it.
And the opposite end of that is you have the ones that like, I don't want to take anything until you leave the booth, and it's like, funny when you leave to go get coffee or water, stand away from the booth, then people will gravitate and take a few things. You kind of come back and catch them like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Cool, or just grabbing a pen if that's okay." I'm like, "There's 80 pens on the table, please take three of them."
I don't want to have to pack them back up. Come up. Well, Jeff, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, as always, and we'll definitely get you on the show. I like them better live. I'm right here with you. We can interact a little better. On the online stuff's okay; it's still fun. But at least right here when they're live, it's a lot more different.
I look
environment,
better
for
in
sure.
your lighting than in my office.
We
too,
got
so
this
this
tan
is,
look going.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know. I'm
sure-
like, man,
I don't know if the spray tan filter's on, but I'm not really like this tan normally. I'm not sure what's happening
was
with
wondering
this
that
camera.
earlier. I'm like,
no, it's not. I looked at it. I was like, maybe I'll just leave it like this. I kind of like it.
complexion looks nice.
I know
yeah.
it does. So when I turn red,
You
laughing,
can get a filter to take out the gray. I'll come back anytime.
I can get you just a just for men thing. That'd work too.
Okay.
Because
Just for men
if
filter.
I grow,
That's
you know,
wonderful.
someone's gonna make it now.
Yep. You heard it here first.
That's right. All right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. How long have we been going? We've been going over an hour. Usually the live ones I keep down to a limit, but this was a lot of fun, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And guys, we're at PFIC 2022, and it's also online, by the way, too. So obviously, if you can't be here live, it's a little late to get to Nashville, or you just feel like taking a road trip today. Come on out. But if not, you can go to PFIC-conference. And she has an online version because we're broadcasting this. The entire conference online has a portal and all that stuff. So obviously you can't make it down here. You can still sign up. The price of the conference is really inexpensive. And there's just so many great topics. It's unreal. And you don't have to watch them live. Every session is recorded, so you can go back and watch it later on. So again, we're at PFIC in Nashville 2022. We're gonna go find a guitar because Jeff's got to play guitar on one of the breaks. We'll bring it back on here.
Cowboy hats and guitars.
That's right. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you on the next.
You bring me a guitar, I'll wear a cowboy hat.
I'm doing it.
No,
I'm doing it. You don't think I will? We'll find it. We'll absolutely make sure we find it. All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you in the next one. Jeff, again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
OS
man.
Forensics. Guys, make sure you go and check those guys out for sure. All right. We'll see you. Thanks.